Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rob Johnson here for Robb Johnson Media. Sorry I'm late, guys. It was a pretty crazy day today. When I say crazy, I mean it was a pretty crazy day. So we're gonna get to some stories here. We're not gonna do too much here, guys. We're not gonna be too long today. We're gonna talk some sports. Um, Give me one quick second, folks. As for some reason, my Facebook has decided it wants to log me out. So I have to try to get this situated. Apologize about the delay right now. Right, give me one second, guys. I'll be right back with you. Um, Trying to get this situation here situated so that you can see Robb Johnson, the Robb Johnson Sports Show, on my personal Facebook page. Let's see here. For some reason it keeps having me keeps messing with my privacy, but it's now public, so that's public. All right, so let's get this show started. Before I give you guys the intro, let's get to some breaking news. And the breaking news is that JJ McCarthy, as we reported here on Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network, that JJ McCarthy is out for the season with a torn meniscus, a significant blow to the first rounder out of Michigan, a significant blow to the Minnesota Vikings and the NFL having a young player come in. How will this, me and Larry talk about this as well. How will this affect other teams, how they play rookie quarterbacks? We don't think that it will have a big effect at all. What we do think is teams will be a little more cautious. We also think that teams will evaluate how their players are, running and doing different things like that during a game, etc., which is smart. You always want to keep your rookie quarterbacks healthy. That's huge news for the NFC North. Now the NFC North understands that you are dealing with Sam Darnold and possibly another player who may be traded, maybe picked up in free agency, etc. We'll get to that more here on the Robb Johnson Sports Show. Stay tuned. Whatever you're into when it comes to sports, you can find it right here. Now, play my intro. Now it's time for the Robb Johnson Sports Show, presented by Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome back to the Robb Johnson Sports Show. Again, I'm your host, Robb Johnson, here for Robb Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Here for another show, here for another chance to talk to you guys about sports and different things that are going on. Again, JJ McCarthy is out for the season, torn meniscus. We'll definitely see how that works out for him. We'll definitely see what that brings to the Minnesota Vikings. As me and my guy Larry Passer were talking about yesterday, look, if you are a quarterback who's on the brink right now, you're fighting for a job. You know you're going to be a backup, or you're probably fighting for a starting job. And let's say that you want to show out this preseason. This makes preseason that of the more importance, because quite simply, you have to show out. Because now you have JJ McCarthy who's down, as we talked about yesterday. Sam Darnold has not been a bust per se. You can't call him that all the way, especially because of the situation where he was in New York, and you know how the Jets organization is. You understand the fact that he played decently in Carolina. He didn't play great, but he played decently in Carolina. You understand the fact that Sam Darnold could do the job for you. However, Sam Darnold does have something that has been hindering him for a long time, and that's injuries. Sam Darnold gets injured a lot, and we understand that. We're not going to go too deeply in it. We understand that Sam Darnold has injuries. But what we do understand, folks, is this. When you are the Minnesota Vikings, you're in division with the Green Bay Packers. You're in division with the Chicago Bears. You're in division, with the Detroit Lions. Juggernauts like that. You have to make sure that you are getting the best quarterback, the best backup quarterback. If you have to spend a first round, a second round pick, if you have to spend a third round pick, that's something you have to do. If you have to go back to the well and bring in a Joshua Dobbs like you did last year, that's just something you have to do, folks. That's going to be something you're going to have to do because this team with Jordan Addison, again, we don't know if Jordan Addison is going to be suspended for a couple of games, a game or two, whatever, because of DUI arrest, I believe was at the airport. And you have Justin Jefferson. You don't want to waste these guys. You just pay Justin Jefferson. You want to get him out there. You want to get him catches. You want to be able to do certain things. But I look at Minnesota, and I think they're in almost the same boat as Cincinnati. Who's your running back going to be? Are you going to be able to replace the guys you've had in the past? They have not been able to replace Dalvin Cook since he left. And that's been, 2 years now? So if you're the Minnesota Vikings, what is going to be your plan at the quarterback position? So we'll see how that goes. Again, J.J. McCarthy, for you all that did not see it yesterday, he had torn meniscus. Breaking news today. Again, the breaking news, J.J. McCarthy out for the season with a torn meniscus. I was not high on J.J. McCarthy. However, I did like some of his progression through training camp. I like that. I think from what I saw from his game last week, he threw the interception. He was able to recover himself. He was able to have the intestinal fortitude and just the absolute gall to get back out there and play good football. Get 2 touchdowns. His teammates were fired up about it. So I really like what J.J. McCarthy did after that. Again, not the biggest J.J. McCarthy guy coming out of Michigan. And I'm still not too high, but I do know he's tough, and I do know he's going to come back with a vengeance. So that's something I look forward to in that situation. Now, next topic here, folks, as we switch topics, we're going to talk a little WNBA. Tomorrow night, we have the Sky against the Mercury. Now, you do have Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner coming off of the Olympics. So they're going to probably be a little tired. I don't know if they're even going to play tomorrow night. Just coming off the Olympics, having to make the long trip across from overseas. So we'll see how that goes. We'll definitely see how that goes. This is a huge game for the Chicago Sky. And I say that for a multitude of reasons. Because if you look at it, they're the number 4 seed right now in the East, while the Mercury are the 4th seed in the West. They're a game behind Indiana. And I believe if they win tomorrow night, the Sky will take over the Indiana Fever's position in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. This is also a big for the Sky because you traded Mabry, so she's no longer there. She was supposed to be a 3-point specialist. She struggled throughout the season. She had some really good games. I think this is also big for Carmelo Cardoso. And, and I want to make this point, and I know a lot of people may not like this. This young lady right here, Angel Reese. I believe Angel Reese right now should stop worrying about the Rookie of the Year. Stop worrying about the Rookie of the Year. Do not worry about it. Don't think about the Rookie of the Year because at the end of the day, the Rookie of the Year does not matter. What matters and what should matter to Angel Reese is championships. She's a champion. She comes from LSU where she won a national championship. Stop worrying about the Rookie of the Year. Let everybody have their cake. Let everybody eat the cake. Let everybody want Caitlin Clark to want to be your Rookie of the Year because that's what the conversation's about. It's about Caitlin Clark. It's about Angel Reese. Take that pressure off yourself. Take that pressure off yourself. You don't need to worry about that. I feel like for the Sky, because every team wants to win a championship. And sometimes it's more realistic to others because you have some teams who are better. Like, for example, you got the Aces, you got the Lynx, you got Connecticut. Those are your top teams. You got the Liberty. Those are your top teams who you think are going to win a championship, correct? So if you're the Chicago Sky, you got a bright future with the players you have. You know that with Cardoso and with Angel Reese, they are eventually going to turn into the terror of the WNBA inside. I mean, Reese is already doing this. What do you think Cardoso is going to do? She was injured. She had an injury early in the season. I believe she had to have off-season surgery. And folks, she's only going to get better. So I feel like the maturation and the process of her becoming a better player is the most important thing for the Sky in the second half. Angel Reese double doubles, yeah, continue to get double doubles, because if you continue to get double doubles, guess what? You're helping your team with rebounding points, all the good stuff. But for the Chicago Sky to get to where they want to go, Cardoso, other players on that team are going to have to do their thing. They're going to have to continue to play better. Trinity Carter played one hell of a first half for the Chicago Sky. You continue to let her maturation process. She's out of A&M. I believe she scored what? She was like, what, 22.9 points per game, almost 23 points per game. She had a productive career at Texas A&M, did Trinity Carter. So for Angel Reese, if you explode in the second half and you're scoring all these points and you do win Rookie of the Year, that's good for you. But the main focus on getting into the playoffs, getting a good matchup, and making some noise. Because that Rookie of the Year, honestly, it really doesn't mean much. I feel like it means more to the fans of Caitlin Clark than it does the fans of Angel Reese. But at this point, I think everybody should be fans of both of these players. Again, I've said, am I the biggest Caitlin Clark fan? Have never been. However, I give her credit when she deserves it. I'm a huge Angel Reese fan, but I also will criticize her when she makes mistakes. And that's the difference between people like me and a lot of people out there who can't blur the lines of being biased and not being biased. So that's how that goes. So let's go to yesterday, folks. Let's talk real quickly about some baseball. All right. So yesterday we had the Atlanta Braves. I'm going to give you guys the scores. And this is my point about you can never take anything for granted in Major League Baseball, especially this year where, quite honestly, nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense at this point, right? So you got the Atlanta Braves beating the San Francisco Giants 4-3 in 10 innings. I believe this is the second night in a row they went 10. Yeah, because on, what was this, Monday night, they went to a 1-0 game where you had a classic between the two starting pitchers. And the starting pitching was just absolutely the starting pitching was absolutely great on Monday night. Chris Sale continues to play good baseball. He used to be a Red Sox, and now he's with the Atlanta Braves, and then Blake Snell, he pitched 6 innings, only gave up 2 hits. Just a great pitching duel between Blake Snell and Chris Sale on Monday night. 1-0, classic baseball game, classic between the Atlanta Braves and the San Francisco Giants. They've played some classics in the past. They played a classic on Monday night. Next score, we had the Nationals beat the Baltimore Orioles 9-3. And what was the consequence of that? Here was the consequence. By them doing that, the Yankees go up by a half a game. Folks, I'm telling you right now, for those who are not watching Major League Baseball, for those who are neglecting Major League Baseball, you just don't understand what you're doing. But it's a lot of Major League Baseball's fault as well, because the analytics and all that crap has totally hurt the game. Moneyball, all that trash has hurt the game in a lot of ways. We got to get back to old school ways with baseball. Chicks dig the long ball. Just different stuff like that we used to do in the past, I think would be better for the game right now. It would definitely help more young people want to see the game. The Cleveland Guardians defeat the Chicago Cubs 2-1. You had the Miami Marlins. Yes, the Miami Marlins defeat the Philadelphia Phillies 5-0. I was seeing some things today where they were talking about, should the Phillies press the panic button? Should they do things differently? No. I've continued to say this, folks. The Marlins are just a hard-playing team. The Marlins are a team that you always have to worry about this time of year. Historically, they like to play spoiler. They love to play spoiler. So when you're playing the Marlins this time of year, now if you're playing them early in the season, especially if they're not a good team, you're playing them early in the season, they probably won't give you that much. But this time of year, yeah, they'll start playing really hard, and you got to really watch out when you play the Miami Marlins. The Cincinnati Reds defeated the Cardinals 4-1. The Detroit Tigers absolutely mauled the Seattle Mariners 15-1. If you're Seattle, how do you get beat by Detroit 15-1? That is just absolutely mayhem. How you get beat 15-1 by the Tigers, who right now are still 8.5 games out. It looks like they're not going to be able to make up that ground. But the Tigers are another team that you don't want to play down the stretch because they're playing incredibly hard baseball. That lead for the Houston Astros, by the way, folks, is now up to a game and a half. The Texas Rangers are now 9.5 back. We told you. Me and Larry Patterson told all of you, be very careful with the Houston Astros. They're getting hot at the right time. Speaking of the Astros, they go to Tampa Bay and they beat the Rays 3-2. A Rays team who you always have to factor in. You always have to worry about the Tampa Bay Rays because they're always going to play tough baseball. They're 6.5 games out. They're 6 games out right now of the wild card, and it's more likely they're not going to catch. But the Rays do get hot. They're the same as the Miami Marlins. This time of year, they always get hot, so you always have to watch for them. The Boston Red Sox defeated the Texas Rangers 9-4. Red Sox continue to play really good baseball. They continue to show why they are going to be on the upswing. And if you're the Red Sox, just imagine if you had Mookie Betts still. Imagine that, folks. The Boston Red Sox had Mookie Betts in his prime. They had Chris Sale. But sometimes things don't work out. But you always have to ask yourself, what if? What if the Boston Red Sox had not got rid of Mookie Betts? What if? Here's another game. That's what I'm saying, folks. Everything's so sneaky. The Oakland Athletics, who have a record now of 51-69, and just trust me, they're playing their butts off. They beat the Mets in Queens 9-4. The Minnesota Twins defeat the Royals 13-3. The Yankees come back from the little catastrophe they had on Monday where they were beaten by the White Sox. They beat them by a score of 4-1. And I believe that series ends tonight. Let's see. Yep, they play tonight at 8:10 p.m. Eastern, 7:10 on in Central Time. So that game will be on MLB Network. So if you're looking to see how the Yankees are going to do against the Chicago White Sox, definitely check that game out. And I believe there were some stats that were so interesting from last night. Oh, Juan Soto. Juan Soto had 4 at-bats, 3 runs, 3 hits, 4 RBIs, and had 3 freaking home runs. Juan Soto had 3 home runs for the New York Yankees. He's basically the reason why they won. Listen, folks, I get it that everybody likes Aaron Judge to be the MVP. But where would the New York Yankees be without Juan Soto this year? You have to seriously ask yourself that question. Where would the Yankees be without Juan Soto? Where would they be without Juan Soto? Soto has been clutch for this team all year. He's going to come up big in the postseason, I feel like, because he's done it. He's won a World Series. Juan Soto has something that Aaron Judge does not have, and that is a World Series championship. He brings that experience, man. And just imagine if he was still with the Padres. The Padres, man, are a train wreck. The Padres are a train wreck. You go from last year to now. I mean, just imagine. I mean, even though they played decent last year, you imagine they still have Juan Soto. But sometimes, again, it's fits. It's about things that fit. The LA Dodgers defeat the – listen, I get it. If you're a Milwaukee Brewers fan, you don't want to hear this. But the Milwaukee Brewers are the biggest pretenders in the last decade and a half, probably. They win games in the regular season, they win the division, they get into the playoffs, and they do nothing. How can you really be a believer of the Milwaukee Brewers? Honestly, I can't believe in them. There's nothing the Milwaukee Brewers do that they've lost 3 straight games. They've won, out of their last 10 games, they're 5-5 in the last 10, lost 3 straight. The Dodgers, on the other hand, have won 5 straight and have won 8 out of the last 10. I told you, folks, they are getting hot at the right time. But for the Dodgers and their fans, they're going to want them to play hard when it comes to the postseason. Postseason is going to be hard as hell this year, especially when you're talking about the Padres possibly and having to deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks again, because this is the Arizona Diamondbacks time of year where they start getting hot. So if you're the Dodgers, you don't want to flame out too fast. So win these games, but don't flame out too fast. The Blue Jays defeat the LA Angels in an irrelevant game. The Diamondbacks beat the Rockies 4-3. And they say, hey, they only beat them by 1. Listen, it's the dog days of August, baby. Only thing you got to do is you got to get through it. And the Rockies, another team that's below at the bottom of the standings, but they're playing their butts off. You see, they just beat the Braves in the series. You see how every time you look, they're playing hard baseball. These teams are really trying, man. Nobody's tanking right now. So I don't want to hear anything about people say, oh, teams are tanking. No, these teams are playing their butts off, man. These teams are actually trying to win. So you have to compliment those teams. Speaking of the San Diego Padres, they defeat the Pirates 3-0. Man, this is hard. This is so hard. You look at the Padres, right? They've lost 9 out of their last 10 games. 9 out of their last 10 games, while the Padres have won 9 of their last 10 and won 2 straight. And if you go to the standings as well, where I'm going to pull the standings back up here. If you go to the standings for Major League Baseball, you look at the Pirates, they've lost 9 of the last 10. And you look at their wild card position, the Pirates are 7 games out. What does that tell you? The Pirates were right there. They've lost 9 out of 10. They're 7 games back. They were right there. And they have a record of 56-63. Now, could they go on a run here? Could they get some of that magic back they had before? They had pre-All-Star game. Of course, the All-Star game was early July and we're in August. But it just feels like, folks, that after the All-Star game, they lost some of that juice. You know, you have the rookie come in, you have the rookie pitcher coming in. You have a lot of, he starts the All-Star game. Paul Skeens, he comes in, he does a good job. He plays good baseball. You're really excited about him. He's 6-2. Paul Skeens is still 6-2 on the season, folks. His whip is .96. 23 earned runs, 24 runs, 68 hits, 9 home runs given up. 15 games he's had 15 games with 15 starts. 6-2. A 2.25 ERA. 115 Ks, only 20 walks. Right now, if you're the Pirates and you're the Cincinnati Reds, you're at a crossroads because the Reds have Ellie De La Cruz and the Pirates have Paul Skeens. Both are very young. Paul Skeens, folks, won't be, oh my gosh, he won't be 23 until next May. Think about that. Paul Skeens will not be 23 years of age until next May. You got a guy that's going to be pitching for the next 10 to 15 years possibly. You got to make sure you get players around him. You've got to spend the money if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you're the Cincinnati Reds, you've got to spend the money. Because if you don't, these guys are going to get up out of town. You imagine Paul Skeens in the next, 2, 3, 4 years? Putting on that Yankees uniform, putting on that Mets uniform, getting paid by somebody, right? Because you look at the Yankees, for example, in 3 years, Juan Soto will still be in his prime. Aaron Judge will still be in his prime, even though he'll be getting younger. He'll be getting a little bit older. You always have to worry about that with the Yankees. With the Red Sox, think about Paul Skeens on the Red Sox. As they continue to develop, they start to spend money again. Imagine Paul Skeens with the Boston Red Sox, pitching against the Yankees on a Friday night. It would be magical. Imagine Paul Skeens going out to the Dodgers where they basically pay everybody. So, yeah, man, if you are right now the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates and that fan base, you better be very afraid because your teams continue to underachieve and you need to keep these stars. These are once-in-generational stars. If you lose these players, I don't know what to tell you, partner. You lose these players, I just don't know what to tell you. So, folks, we're going to go to our segment today where we tell you who we want to shut the hell up.
I need you to shut the hell up for the immediate future.
So who do I want to shut the hell up for the immediate future today? Well, for most of you people out there who continue to talk about players and their contracts and they make too much money and, where they had a regular job. Listen, they don't have a regular job. They're not out there pouring concrete. No offense, people who pour concrete. They're not doing security. They are football players who have a short shelf life, a short shelf life. They have the average NFL career is what, 3.5, 4 years at that. You're going through a car crash every time you go through a game. Your body's going through immense pressure, pain, all that different type of stuff. Harry Douglas said something today that really stuck to me, because I played football, not at the highest level, not at the college level, a little bit in high school, not too much, but I played football. So my body's been through it. It doesn't matter what level of football you played, your body went through it if you played football. From the practices to the training to the game. So, But he talked about Roddy White. And Harry Douglas talked about Roddy White and how Roddy White and his, I believe Harry Douglas said his first or second year in Atlanta, Roddy White sat out. And the reason Roddy White sat out is he told Harry Douglas, look, man, I don't know how long my life is going to be. I want to have this generational wealth. And the thing is, folks, what you have to understand is we are all lovers of the game of football. And we just want these guys to keep going and, to play for my favorite team. Not knowing these guys, like I said, their bodies go through so much. There's a reason NFL wanted that show. What was it? Primetime Players. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was one of those. It was that show on ESPN where they had the. It was like a series where they talk about the realities of football players. But it was a scripted TV show. And the thing is that what you all have to understand is this: when you're dealing with football players, people who've been playing this game all their lives, when you're dealing with people who put their bodies on the line for your entertainment, and then you get upset, and you want to talk about, oh, why are you being selfish? And this is a child's game. First of all, this is not a child's game. This is a man's game that you could possibly lose your life in. So to those people out there who keep talking about it's a child's game and I'm sick of these players and everything about holding out, well, let me say this to you. Oh, the show, by the way, is called Playmakers. If you remember that show, Playmakers, that was the most realistic ideal that they could give to you what an NFL or any type of football player goes through. That's why the NFL had it taken down off ESPN. Don't think otherwise. They had it taken down. But again, to all you people out there who continue to say, oh, you're being selfish and, oh, it must feel good making millions of dollars. Well, folks, there's this thing called taxes. There's this thing called contracts aren't guaranteed. There's this thing called sometimes contracts are front loaded. And then there's taxes, there's fees, there's this, there's that. If the thing is, no matter how much money you have, you can lose it. You can have $5,000 a day. You can lose tomorrow. We've seen billionaires go bankrupt. Money doesn't last forever, folks, and it's very hard to maintain, especially when you're a football player and you start playing football at the age of 22, 23, and you stop playing at 33, 34 years old. Anybody who's ever had a job and understands when that money flow stops coming in, you got to adjust life. You have to adjust life. People say, "Oh, you're a millionaire. You're a millionaire," and all this. Well, the owners are billionaires. Okay. So the players are out there really pulling the sacrifices in, and they're the ones getting hurt. They're the ones having surgeries. They're the ones that can't walk half the week. But you never see stuff like that. You don't ever want to put yourself in their shoes. And then everybody wants to talk about it's funny to me. People talk about the billionaires in this country, and they talk about how, they're so selfish, blah, blah, blah. But I always see you fans coming to these owners' defenses when it comes to the player not getting paid. But the bigger reason is a lot of you out there, you don't care about your favorite team. And here's the truth. A lot of you don't care about your team. You know what you care about? You care about two things. You care about gambling and you care about fantasy football. Stop acting like you care about these players. Stop acting like you care about their well-being. No, as long as they are getting you points on your fantasy team, as long as they're helping you win on FanDuel, you don't give a damn about these players. So again, this is my message to you all.
I need you to shut the hell up for the immediate future.
Exactly. Now, let's go to a quick commercial from Latourist. Make sure you check out latourist.com. Hey guys, this is Robb Johnson from Robb Johnson Media. I just want to let you guys know Latourist, one of the best brands out there for activewear. No matter if you're hiking, running, playing golf, playing tennis, It doesn't matter what you're doing. When you have on this right here, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, you feel good and your performance will be great. Latoris, check it out today at latoris.com. All right, today's Tell the World How You Feel. This is how I feel, folks, about today. Basically, on Sunday, me and Larry Patterson, episode 71 of the Robb Johnson Sports Show, we'll be doing a whole bunch of topics. I can actually show you guys now the topics we'll be talking about. If you look down the bottom of the screen, Sunday night at 8:30, we'll be talking if Kobe or MJ had won an in-season tournament, would people celebrate it more? It's a good question, right? Your top five, what does it say? Your top five through 1. Final Heisman contenders. That's, again, give you your final Heisman contenders. NFL preseason review week. We're going to review the whole week. We're going to do the Shut the Hell Up segment, and we're going to tell the world how we feel. And what I want to do is just thank everybody who's tuned in to the Robb Johnson Sports Show. Share, like, and subscribe. And my basic message before I end the show today, folks, is continue to strive. It's hard out here, but you know what? If you have a plan, if you are dedicated, you can get it done. It's not going to always be easy. I can guarantee you that right now. But just continue to strive and work as hard as you can. The days are going to be long. The days are going to be hard. Your body's not going to feel like it. You're not going to feel like it. But you can get it done. Just keep on pushing. I will see you on Sunday night for episode 71 of the Robb Johnson Sports Show, featuring Larry Patterson from Game Time 365 Game Time Sports Network. See you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your week.
It's caught in the crossfire.